Seeing from outside, what is your impression of Shubman Gill? And if somebody is in this kind of form, is getting hundreds, would you have sort of gone in straight with him? Or is it that white ball cricket and red ball cricket fundamentally different, so you wouldn't judge white ball form to be an index for red ball form? Your thoughts on Shubman Gill?
Look, he's a very good player. There's no doubt about it. Anybody who plays for India has got some serious talent. They wouldn't have got that far if they didn't. But I agree with you. I think it's sometimes a little bit dangerous to extrapolate white ball form into red ball form. But the fact of the matter is that Gill has the ability to make runs at test level, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes about it. I would think that the Australians would consider him one of the weak links in the Indian side. Now that's very dangerous because, as I say, anyone who plays for India is a very, very good player and a very talented player. So a big part of it will be whether Shubman Gill thinks he's a good player. If he believes he's a good player and he thinks he's in good form and he can come out and bat with some confidence, then he'll do very well. But if he has any doubt, if he, doesn't matter what you think, what I think, it doesn't matter what a billion people in India think, whether he's good enough or not. What counts is whether he thinks he's good enough or not. And if he thinks he's good enough, he'll be fine. But if he has any doubt, then Test cricket will be too hard for him. It's not the be-all and end-all, but I think Virat is the key. If he struggles to score runs, then Australia will be in the contest at every turn. If he makes runs, I think India wins the series comfortably.
And he, in many ways, if you see Virat, whether it's 2014, 2018, he's in many ways a very Australian kind of mindset. I mean, take it feisty, fight, passion, wearing his heart on his sleeve. So in that sense, he sort of sets it up. How important is Virat for Test match cricket? To get bums on seats, to get people to come and watch. He sort of sets it all up, being the character that he is.
Yeah, he's very important to Test cricket. I think we're getting to the stage where it's really the big three in Test cricket: India, England, Australia. They're the ones that have been playing Test cricket the longest, and therefore have the most history of Test cricket. It's quite an expensive exercise to develop good cricketers and therefore to develop good teams, and particularly for long form cricket and particularly for batting in long form cricket. It doesn't happen overnight, and you don't get somebody who just wakes up one day at 21 and decides they're going to be a good batsman. Being a good batsman starts almost in the womb. It's something that you absorb, you have to live it. You have to be passionate about batting. You have to be passionate about getting better at batting. And you have to be passionate about finding the right routines to be able to be on song regularly in Test cricket. It takes a lot of effort to make runs in Test cricket. These guys that bowl at the Test level, they're all good bowlers. Every team has 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, good bowlers. So there aren't many easy runs. You don't get too many ranked bad balls at that level. What the very best players do is they're able to score off the less than good balls that the good bowlers bowl. And, cricket is a game that really, when it's all boiled down, you're battling over a piece of turf that's about the size of your front doormat, maybe a bit smaller than your front doormat, to be honest. That danger zone, sort of 4 to 6 metres down the pitch, in line with the stumps, just outside off stump. That's the area that the bowlers want to dominate. As a batsman, you have to take them away from that area. If they stray to this end of it, then you must score runs. If they drop a little bit short to the bottom end of it, you must score runs. And if they're just a little bit wide, you must score runs. Because if you don't score off those, a good ball is coming and you'll get dismissed. The good players can almost dictate to the bowlers what they should bowl.
So you think Virat does that?
To bowl next.
Virat does that, what you just said, score runs of these 3 areas where he gets his opportunity, and that's what makes him special? That's
exactly what he does, and that's what makes him special, along with all the very best players through the history of the game, to be honest. That somebody's under pressure. In Test cricket, everybody's under pressure. The bowler's under pressure and the batsman's under pressure. But if you're a batsman and you let the bowler get away with his less than good balls, then the pressure starts to build on you and it becomes unbearable. And in the end, you make a mistake because you have to try and create something. Your job as a batsman, when I come in, I want to get the bowler away from that danger zone as quickly as I can. And I want to put the pressure on the other end. I want him to have the pressure, and that makes it easier for me to be able to score runs. And, I remember having a conversation many years ago with, over the years I've spoken to most of the good batsmen, but Brian Lara was very interesting to talk to about batting. And, I asked him why he thought he had made so many big scores. And he said because he could pick his moments. He could pick when a bowler was down, was not quite at his best, or he could pick that this bowler was one who wasn't quite up to it, wasn't perhaps quite ready for that level, and he could dominate them and he could get quick runs in a short space of time, and then he'd have a bit of a rest and then he'd go again. And I thought that was a very fascinating insight into the mind of one of the great batsmen of the modern era. You see a lot of other batsmen who don't do that. They're one-pace players. They never get that spurt on and get the so-called easy runs, a quick batch of runs, 40 or 50 runs in a short period of time. In the end, all batsmen run out of energy, and 99 times out of 100, they get themselves out by making a mental mistake. Lara was one that, could get the quick runs, but then he would have a little bit of a rest mentally as much as anything else and just stay down the non-strikers in, build his energy back up and go again. Not many batsmen can do that, and it's only the very best that really threaten the bowlers. And by being able to do that, you can dictate to the bowler what to bowl next. If they've strayed too full down this end of the danger zone and the batsman scores off it, only the very best bowlers are going to come back to that area next time. Most of them will try and correct their length and drop it a little bit shorter. Usually they overcorrect and they bowl a short ball, and the good player scores again, and then the pressure starts to build on the bowlers. So these are the sort of things that both teams have to do, but the Australians probably more so than India, because they'll be under the pump from day one.